You want to play Champions League football. You want to keep breaking records. It comes back to my gut feeling about you that if it was just about money, you'd be in Saudi Arabia, right, earning this king's ransom. But that's not what motivates you at the top.
Exactly, because I thought I still believe that I can't score many goals and help.
The money sounds great and all, Cristiano. It's genuinely a staggering amount. But just at the risk of sounding slightly impertinent, was this really the best that you could do? I think it's time. It's time to say Ronaldo has fallen off, and he is no longer in the conversation to be the greatest of all time. Ronaldo has achieved countless accolades throughout his career, including 5 Ballon d'Or awards and numerous league titles with teams such as Manchester United, Real Madrid, and Juventus. How did the man who for so long led legendary clubs to glory and renown fall so far that he'll be signing with Al Nassr in the Saudi Arabia Pro League? I guess the pride really does come before the fall. At the age of just 16, Ronaldo was promoted to Sporting's first team as his dribbling skills dazzled the coaching staff. His performances caught the attention of top clubs like Liverpool, Barcelona, and Arsenal, and it seemed only a matter of time before he made a big move. That move eventually came in 2003, when Manchester United came calling. Initially, the plan was to sign Ronaldo and loan him back to Sporting for a year. But after a game where Sporting played Manchester United, and Sir Alex saw Ronaldo in the flesh, he agreed to pay immediately £12.24 million for what he called one of the most exciting young players he had ever seen. Even as Ronaldo left Sporting, his DNA continues on in the fabric of the club. Patrick Leal, a player I interviewed last year who came up in the Sporting Academy, said his experience, even in the present day, was that Sporting valued individual flair and kids of all ages tried to emulate Ronaldo. Cristiano Ronaldo joined Manchester United in 2003 as the most expensive teenager in English football history. 4 years later, in 2007, was the year the world saw him break through to a level not seen in decades. In total, Ronaldo scored 42 goals in all competitions during the 2007-2008 season, and it was his most prolific campaign at Manchester United. By the end of the 2008 season, Ronaldo lifted the Champions League trophy with Manchester United, scoring key goals across domestic and European campaigns. This would be his first and only Champions League title with United, but he would return to Champions League glory with his next club, Real Madrid. In a storybook ending, his final goal came for United on May 10th with the free kick in the Manchester derby at Old Trafford. At the time of Ronaldo's transfer to Real Madrid, they had broken the record for largest transfer fee ever paid as the La Liga giants shelled out €94 million. And Ronaldo paid it back in spades immediately with his impact, becoming the first Madrid player to score in each of his first 4 league games. Cristiano Ronaldo has always been a player that has been expected to deliver on the biggest stages. He has consistently proven himself to be one of the best players in the world throughout his career, and his time at Real Madrid was no different. He was a key part in Madrid's run to 4 Champions League titles, and his ability to score in the biggest games was one of the differentiators to everyone else on the planet. His goals in the Champions League helped cement his place as one of the greatest players in the history of the competition. In the middle of Real Madrid's unprecedented back-to-back-to-back Champions League victories, this was the era where Ronaldo became a candidate, where people started to whisper the question, will he end up as the greatest of all time? He wasn't slowing down anytime soon. Eventually with Madrid, he won his 5th Ballon d'Or award and 5th Champions League title, including an insane bicycle kick against Juventus, which sparked applause from the opposition fans. At the close of the 2018 season, Ronaldo spoke about his time at Madrid in the past tense, sparking debate on what his future might look like. It would be difficult to imagine him in any other jersey than royal white. But as fate would have it, in the summer of 2018, Cristiano Ronaldo made a shock move from Real Madrid to Italian giants Juventus. The transfer, worth a reported 100 million euros, made Ronaldo the highest paid player in Italian football history and the highest paid player over the age of 30 in the world. As he began his new chapter at Juventus, Ronaldo was tasked with helping the club achieve the success it had been seeking for so long. With his unrivaled skill and determination, Ronaldo quickly became a key figure for Juve, scoring important goals and leading the team to numerous victories. He continued to perform at the highest level for Juventus, helping the club win 3 consecutive Serie A titles, but never taking them to the Champions League final. It seems like every time Ronaldo reaches the pinnacle with a new team, he seems to want to pursue a new challenge. Only this time, after winning what he could with Juventus, he was set to return to the club that was one of the biggest rivals of the team that had helped him become one of the best in the world.
It's speculation about where you're going to go. And the big rumor is that you're going to go to Manchester City. So first of all, how close was that to happening?
Well, honestly, it was close. It was close.
After news broke that there was a verbal agreement between Manchester City and Ronaldo's representatives, Manchester United had no choice but to beat them to his signature. Sir Alex Ferguson, Ronaldo's previous manager at United, was in constant contact to try and sway him back to the Red Devils. And in 2021, Cristiano Ronaldo returned to Manchester United, the club where he had enjoyed so much success earlier in his career. Despite the strong start to the season, Ronaldo's performances and the team's form began to decline in the following months. Ronaldo endured a fractured relationship with his teammates and interim manager Ralf Rangnick, and he went 2 months without scoring a goal, equaling his worst goal-scoring run since 2010. After suffering a hamstring injury and missing the Manchester derby against Manchester City, he struggled throughout the rest of the season, as did Manchester United, finishing in a disappointing 6th place and qualifying for the Europa League. This marked the first time since 2010 that Ronaldo had gone trophyless. As the 2022 season approached, Ronaldo's future at Manchester United remained uncertain. Reports had emerged of his desire to leave the club and join a team competing in the Champions League, and his agent Jorge Mendes shopped him to literally every single club competing in the Champions League. But nobody was willing to pay a transfer fee or his exorbitant wages. Which brings us to the present day. During the World Cup in Qatar, it became increasingly evident that Ronaldo's selfishness was impacting the squad's performance on the pitch, and his divorce from his club dominated the news cycle. Right before the knockout rounds began, there were shock reports that he would be joining Saudi club Al Nassr, and now it looks like those reports are unfortunately true. Quickly, by the way, can I ask that if you've enjoyed this video so far, to like the video and subscribe to the channel? Thank you so much. We can all probably assume the money on offer, a staggering $214 million a year, will ensure Ronaldo chooses to look the other way when it comes to accusations of Saudi sports washing. But it's also a bit of a head scratcher when his grievance with United for so long was that he wanted to engineer his own exit because he, the great Cristiano, could not possibly tolerate the idea of not playing in the Champions League this season. Deep down, I honestly suspect Ronaldo probably thought he could do better too. Ultimately, this feels like more than just a story of Ronaldo securing himself the kind of salary that will appeal, Ronaldo being Ronaldo, to his view of himself as football royalty. Maybe the indignities of the recent World Cup made it obvious, even to a man with Ronaldo's once impenetrable ego, that it's no use trying to outdo Lionel Messi any longer. Ronaldo will without question remember Qatar 2022 as a personal ordeal. Maybe he has had to confront the reality that age is not an opponent he can beat after all. The former Portugal captain has been more vulnerable over the past year than at any other time in his professional life. And it's staring him in the face that none of Europe's superpowers had any real compulsion to sign a guy who would cost an absolute fortune, expect to play in every game and, if he didn't get his way, create all sorts of hassle behind the scenes, especially as that same guy turns 38 years old at the start of February. Instead, this feels like a way for Ronaldo to go out as the best paid footballer on the planet at a time in his life when money, it seems, might soon become the way he keeps the score, rather than league titles, European Cups, and Ballon d'Or wins. If so, we have to say it has been a hell of a journey. Let's never forget that. But this still doesn't make it right though. It all just felt so calculated. Just before he headed off to the World Cup, he said in the interview with Piers Morgan that he had zero respect for the manager of United, Erik ten Hag. He said he felt betrayed by the club. He knew exactly what he was doing in that interview. I also feel like I need to point this out. If you have an exclusive one-on-one interview with Piers Morgan right now, the story is not ending well for you. Ronaldo described himself as an example of model behavior for younger players, as if forgetting he had stalked away from Old Trafford during one game, got in his car and driven home because he was so upset about being named among the substitutes. And now his latest club, who are currently second in the Saudi Pro League, usher in his signing by proclaiming it will inspire our league, nation and future generations, boys and girls to be the best version of themselves. It's funny though, I ran that exact quote through a Ronaldo translator, and it weirdly just came out with a bunch of dollar bill signs. The Saudi Pro League might have been the only realistic move unless Ronaldo was willing to bring down his financial requirements. His latest deal will see him raking in almost $4 million per week. To put that in context, it's around 10 times what Kevin De Bruyne earns at Manchester City, who are going for a third Premier League title in a row. Unfortunately for Ronaldo, Al Nassr were pushing their luck when they announced the new signing as, quote, the world's greatest athlete. Those days belong in the past tense. That is the bottom line, and if that were not the case, he would not be teaming up with a bunch of players he doesn't know, preparing to face opponents he doesn't know, in a league where a fading 37-year-old Ronaldo can still be a force. He won't even end his career in a, quote, retirement league like Major League Soccer. He'll end it by getting paid hundreds of millions of dollars in blood money to wash away into obscurity surrounded by yes men. That's his choice, but I don't have to respect it. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you want to see videos like this and support the channel for $5 a month, you can do so at patreon.com/itscalledsoccer.